Udah live belum? Streaming live. Oh, udah live. Haha. Testing suara dulu ya. Testing suara. Let me hear. Testing suara. Oke, looks good, man. Oke, kawan semua, jadi gua akan belajar tentang ini ya. Kita ada video baru tanggal 31 Januari 2019 berhubungan dengan breaker. Jadi saya kasih judul di sini BreakerNinja ya. BreakerNinja di video gua judulnya kenapa? Supaya nggak terlacak di Google Search ya, karena saya nggak mau kalau nanti orang search search tentang breaker nampak tentang kripto gitu. Saya sebenarnya mau kalau proyek ini menjadi sebuah proyek yang kayak semacam Netflix ya, yang memang fokus kepada real user bukan crypto user, karena crypto user menurut saya mereka cuman masuk sementara doang, karena crypto user dia mencari keuntungan, sedangkan kalau real user kita rela ya memfoyakan duit untuk menonton, untuk menghabiskan duit kita untuk sebuah hobi, untuk sebuah jasa, untuk sebuah layanan. Jadi saya mau seperti itu untuk proyek ini. Makanya untuk proyek ini Singularity TV yang kemarin saya sebut Ninja, mereka sudah ganti nama kepada Breaker. Dan dalam video ini ya, pembelajaran kali ini gue akan coba belajar sebaik mungkin dan saya kasih judul BreakerNinja. Oke, jadi kita lanjut. Gue akan mulai mainkan videonya nih ya. Ini saya belum nonton ya.
Okay, so we are recording now. So let's kick off the second community call of 2019 and our first community call as Breaker, our new identity, which is very exciting. Yeah. We've got the whole team representing here. But yeah, thank you again to all the members of the community who are joining us today, and those of you who perhaps will be watching this on YouTube later, but who submitted questions. We really do appreciate your extensive engagement, and definitely looking forward to diving into all of the questions that you submitted, as well as some questions that I'm sure have been sparked today by today's events. For those of you who are perhaps watching this a little bit later, or maybe somehow have missed the news, SingularD TV has officially evolved into Breaker, which is our new brand identity, as well as has launched our first really consumer-facing app, Breaker, which is the content distribution portal that we've been talking about for literally years now, and finally have a public beta version that you can go try at breaker.io.
Oke, yuhu. Mereka sudah memiliki mereka situs baru ya, migrasi ke situs serba baru ya, dan juga telah meluncing produk betanya, platform beta ya, platform betanya yang dapat kita download di Windows ataupun Mac. Oke. Untuk situsnya breaker.io, ini dia ya. Itu. Oke. breakers.io. Yap. Give me a minute untuk ngetes dulu. Ya, ini dia situsnya ya. Download the apps. Apps untuk handphone belum tersedia, untuk mobile belum tersedia. Itu bisa sign up lah dulu, sign up di dia punya update ya. Ini kan di bawahnya ada update gitu kan, kamu bisa sign up. Nanti kalau sudah ada rilis versi mobile, nanti kita akan dapat kayak semacam notifikasi lah. Lanjut. Ya.
This a little bit later, or maybe somehow have missed the news. SingularD TV has officially evolved into Breaker, which is our new brand identity, as well as has launched our first really consumer-facing app, Breaker, which is the content distribution portal that we've been talking about for literally years now, and finally have a public beta version that you can go try at breaker.io. Okay. So I know there's a lot to talk about. I want to go back to some of the questions that were submitted weeks ago, even prior to our first community call, because I feel like we just didn't get a chance to get to all of them on the last call. A lot of them were branding and marketing oriented, which is why we picked the theme for today's call to be specifically brand and marketing oriented. So we're very happy that we've got our SVP of brand marketing, Carrie Fitzmaurice, joining us today, who some of you may have met only through Discord now. You can put a face to the name. And then we also have, of course, Kim Jackson, who you all know very well, our president of entertainment and one of our co-founders, and Zach LeBeau, our CEO and another one of our co-founders on the call today. We'll start with sort of some rapid fire, try to get through as many of the pre-submitted questions as we can. And then we can open the floor up a little bit later to your real time and really have a conversation with everybody who joined us today. So why don't we start with you, Carrie, fittingly, since this is really about marketing and rebrand. And a question that we got last time that we really didn't get to spend any time on is, when will the rebranding be done? Which is something Antonius Blockchain asked.
Hi, everybody. Can you see me?
They can.
They can? I just can't. Okay, good. So the question's funny. It says, when will the rebranding be done? And guess what? Today. You get to see the new rebranding. And it's been a long time coming, and it's been a major effort and a team effort with lots of voices and consideration. So it's been a really amazing journey. And to say that the rebranding is out in the world and done would be misleading, because what's so beautiful about this brand and this community is that it is evolving. It is something that we're really proud of, and we put a stake in the ground, but also we're expressing the brand in real time, because we've created it and put it out into the world, and we're figuring it out too. It's like, what does it look like on a billboard? What does it look like on a sweatshirt or a business card or in the email footer? And how are we expressing it to our community and in all of our marketing comms? And so we're kind of expressing it in different ways as we go, and that's what's exciting about it. And I think that's what we really love about the logo and the word mark is that it has so many different iterations in a way, and different perceptions, and you can see it from different ways. And the word breaker alone, it's not a definitive word. It's a word that means to me that, like, the breaking of a wave on shore and dissipating energy with impact. It also is like dissipating energy, like a circuit breaker. It also could mean breaking something down and building it back up again into something new and fresh and different. It has all these beautiful meanings. And then the logo itself is sort of this incredible weird particles that was sort of born of the cosmos idea and brought, and also this decentralization and hive mind mentality where it can morph and be different things. And that's, we've got this static image because obviously as a brand that we want to be a global iconic brand, you need something that is a lockup that people can identify over and over again with your brand. But we do see it expressing and evolving based on maybe a film from one of our original films, or maybe for just the entertainment studio, or maybe for a content partnership. So we are figuring this out and expressing it in real time. And so we feel like this brand and brand name gives us this incredible elasticity from crypto and blockchain to film and entertainment. It can be all of those things and isn't just myopically focused on one. That it's elastic and big enough to encompass all that we are and we want to achieve together with our community and our brands. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I think in great detail too. That's a good insight into all the different challenges to solve around taking this name and this logo and then apply it to all of these different circumstances and still have it feel cohesive and united. Part of, I think, a big concern that the community expressed a lot and they asked a question about was, as part of this rebrand, the updated website. So when is that done? Obviously, there's a new one today, and now the Singular DTV site redirects to breaker.io. But what else when is it officially done? What else do we have in store in terms of the website?
The website, well, we're really excited about the website, and we hope that you guys are excited about it as well. Obviously, you can imagine it was a sprint to get to this timeline, and it will be growing, evolving over the next, even in the near term to the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you'll see pushes. There's a lot of design aspects that we weren't able to get in because we were so obsessed with sort of the web dev and making sure all the MarTech, like all of the marketing backend was in there as well. We wanted to build a site that could live for 6 years. And so we wanted to make sure that we had a really beautiful concrete foundation on which to build sort of like the design aspects of it. So there's some certain like carouseling of the website and information that's just not there yet. And we also wanted to do like a very specific photo shoot for photo treatments of like how our brand expresses itself creatively. And so we've heroed a lot of our creators in the imagery that you see, and we always will. But there's like there's a brand pillar section, and we really want to put some beautiful photography in there too that kind of expresses like how we view data and transparency and our artist relationships. And so you're going to see those things evolving over time, and it's super exciting. And so it'll only get stronger and better. And that's that's what you can look forward to with our partners at DMob and Gale.
Yeah, so the website's not really going to be this static thing. It's going to evolve and change as necessary.
Always, especially as content drops.
Especially as content drops, and that's something that I'm going to be excited to talk about in just a second. But since Edward is joining us again this week, and I know we didn't really get to nearly enough of your questions last time, even though some of them are a little bit tangential to marketing, I wanted to give us some time to legitimately talk about them this week. And so one of them that we didn't get to last time was this question: do we have strategic roadmap plans to be executed to reach these minimum thresholds of market share comparable to a Netflix, a YouTube, or a Spotify? I was wondering, Zach, if you wanted to talk a little bit about that this week.
Come on.
Yeah, sure. You mentioned Netflix, Spotify, and YouTube, and I just wanted to sort of roll back and give a little bit of context really quickly to better answer the question, because I actually don't think that there are other companies or businesses out there like us, even within the blockchain space, because what we're doing, what we've always set out to do is it's all about the pioneering of rights management of intellectual property on the blockchain. And I think that's the most important thing to remember, because that's the key. That's the heart and soul of who we are and what we do, intellectual property on the blockchain. So it's important to, we're not just a distribution portal where you can pay for music and movies with crypto. We're not trying to be another Netflix or YouTube. We're building that next iteration of IP rights management. And IP rights management is largely something that has remained static and unchanged for decades. And it's grossly inefficient. Hold on a second, I'm just gonna mute one of the users so we can not have the background noise. Excuse me.
Just a reminder for anybody who's maybe just joining us, when you aren't speaking, please mute yourself, just so that we have a clear audio feed we can use for our YouTube YouTube video later. Sorry, Zach, please continue.
Tunggu. Jadi dia bilang Breaker bukan sekedar hendak menjadi semacam Netflix ya, kayak semacam orang bisa beli movie segala macam, rent movie, bukan semacam seperti itu, tapi ia juga hendak menghadirkan kebebasan untuk para kreator ya, memanajemenkan hak mereka, memanajemenkan hak mereka ya.
Yep. So yeah, as I was saying, IP rights management as it exists now has largely remained unchanged and static for decades. It's always been grossly inefficient and wasteful. There's never been a real convergence of data, network, value, money. There's no convergence of those things with current systems. They're all separate. So we're changing all that. We're consolidating all of that. And I don't know of any other company, after studying all of them, that's really doing it holistically from all of those angles. To us, IP is everything. And quite simply, what we're building, the whole point is to allow you to build the next iteration of the entertainment industry on the IP rights management infrastructure we're rolling out. Okay, but back to the question about a roadmap. Yes, we're going to be publishing soon a 4-phase roadmap that spans an estimated 5-year period from now 2019 through 2023.
Wow.
And we do have revenue projections, but I got to be honest, I always disregard those because they're impossible to predict, especially at this early stage of everything. I think it'll get a little easier to predict the more mature we become, the more we grow. But I just wanted to preface that because honestly, Edward, in your question, wow, if we can capture 0.5% to 1% of the global VOD market in 5 years, let's say, then that's a major victory because that basic.
Oke, katanya kan. Oke, coming soon di kemudian hari. Nggak tahu kapan. Lalu dia bilang berhubungan dengan revenue gitu kan, karena pemilik token singles atau nanti pun yang saya sudah tahu ya, mereka mungkin atau nggak tahu, mungkin akan digantilah nama tickernya tuh entah ke BKR gitu atau gimana. Jadi kita sebagai pemegang token singles akan mendapatkan semacam revenue share, oke, dari semua orang-orang yang sudah menonton video gitu ya, membeli video, membeli film, membeli musik di dia punya platform. Jadi tadi dia bilang bahwanya kalau tentunya kalau kita bisa mengcapture hanya 0,5% saja ataupun sampai 1% dari keseluruhan market cap di industri seperti musik gini kan, itu sudah ada, itu bisa dibilang menang besar, dia bilang kayak gitu. Oke, lanjut.
Means that we'll be cycling billions of dollars of value through Breaker, through our infrastructure. So I think we'd be a major success story, a major success, the major DApp on the blockchain if we could capture 0.5% to 1% of the global market in 5 years. That means that we'd actually be meaningfully transitioning artists and their content and their audiences from the old system into this new system. So we look forward to putting the finishing touches on this 4-phase roadmap and getting it out to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd add that those projections there are quite optimistic. Certainly, even a portion of that is great for a company in our position. But it definitely will be exciting to start having these conversations look to a more long-term phased approach, like Zach alluded to, as opposed to a lot of the stuff that's right in front of us, which is our shifting focus for the days to come. Then moving through some more questions that Edward had submitted, and I'll just quickly answer this one. Would you consider having a dedicated area to present the exec team's phone numbers, emails, etc., in order to be contacted in full transparency? If not, why? Unfortunately, no, we aren't going to be doing that. For one, it's actually in violation of Swiss data privacy laws. For another, it is very important that our exec team, be allowed to function at their full capacity and not just sort of fielding phone calls from whomever wants to call them up. We will be looking to do more events like this, though, so there will be a time and a place where you get to speak to our executives in order to voice any concerns that you might have. Let's see, another Edward question about this one, definitely specifically about marketing and social media. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, YouTube, they're used very little or with low engagement. Would you consider having a dedicated person for this full time? If not, why?
Yeah. Edward, that's a great question. I joined in July, and when I joined, we made a conscious decision to really look at all of our social media channels and figure out how we were showing up, why we were showing up, because in full transparency, we believe in authentic peer-to-peer value exchange. And I want to give you value even in my voice and my word and deed, not just spam you and buy you and clickbait you. And so the whole idea was to really reevaluate how we were showing up in those channels and use the channels the way they were actually designed. Use Facebook the way it was designed, and Twitter and Instagram and even Telegram and Reddit and Medium, and show up for our audience and hopefully grow that audience in a very authentic way. So we took it way down in our communication strategy to really think through it and be smart about it. And we really want to use those marketing channels because it's a great way to target our early adopters, our fans, the people that care about us, and grow the audience. And so you'll see that as of today, we're back in it, and we're being very tactical and thoughtful with the posts we do, how we interact, and where we interact. You'll also notice that on Facebook, we have a new Facebook page, and
Okay.
she can share that new link on Discord if you haven't already, because we really want to use Facebook in the right way, but we also don't want to go crazy on Facebook because we have certain conflicts with behavioral conflicts with the platform. But we really love how it's engaged so many people globally, and we consider ourselves a global company. And it would be ridiculous for us to not kind of communicate on that platform, but we want to do it authentically. So we have a new channel so that we can invite people back into our community that want to be there and want to engage with us in an authentic way. So we'll share that, but everything else you should have quickly flipped over to all of our new channels if you were following us in the old channels. And hopefully you'll like where we're going with it and what you're seeing and how we're really heroing our creative community, because we are a vehicle and we are a voice and we're an aggregator of creators and visionaries globally. And so we really want to use our social channels to hero and celebrate them.
Okay.
So I hope that answers your question, and I'm happy to continue talking about it as we grow these channels over the next few months and use them to send out marketing messages for our content titles and our brand.
With the mention of the creators, though, I'm excited to start talking more about the entertainment aspects, which we haven't even gotten to yet. But a question that we've gotten repeatedly, and again from Urias.
Oke, jadi berhubungan dengan ini strategi sosial media dan marketing, mereka agak sedikit berbeda dengan komunitas kripto ya, karena kalau kalian perhatikan juga di channel-channelnya itu dia lebih kepada mempromosikan para content creator, para artis yang bekerja sama dengan mereka. Jadi mungkin yang mau dia sampaikan ialah gimana saya tulis ya, maksudnya dia lebih mengarah kepada industri artis gitulah, untuk mempromosikan karya-karya mereka dan bukan kayak cerita-cerita. Kalau dunia kripto sekarang kan banyak orang kan cuma ngomong-ngomong tentang exchanger kan, ngomong-ngomong tentang teknologi, dia punya update teknologi ini itu, developer ini itu, tapi mereka enggak, mereka lebih kepada mempromosikan para artis gitu loh. Jadi gimana ya saya tulisnya, mereka lebih taktikal dalam strategi sosial media mereka dalam marketing sosial media kepada arah yang lebih otentik. Alasan ialah tujuannya ialah lebih kepada mempromosikan karya dari sesebuah artis, oke? Entah itu musik, entah film ya gitulah, lebih ke karya, entah film atau musik ya dari seseorang artis, bukan seseorang artis. Oke, next.
And others, Trust Machine. When are we finally going to be able to see it?
Yes, well, now we have a platform to see it now, don't we? So first we needed to deliver that, which was one of the promises, and we're very proud of this today. It is beta, but it's a pretty darn good looking beta. And we've got some really exciting titles on there. And Trust Machine, we want to premiere that properly, give it some marketing attention. So our plan is to premiere it on the digital distribution portal in March, right around March 15th. So you can look out for it, and token holders will have an opportunity to download that film. And we're very excited to share that with you. It's been doing really well. We had a theatrical debut in the fall. It's been getting great reviews, New York Times, LA Times. It's been doing private screenings at blockchain, different types of blockchain communities. It's being invited all over the world to different film festivals. So it's really getting some great attention and traction, and we cannot wait for you guys to see it.
I don't know if anybody here is based in the Denver area, but it will actually be screening theatrically in Boulder next weekend, and then it's going to be screening as part of Biddle.
You met dude in Prague.
Prague? Oh, hello.
Oh,
hi.
Sorry guys. Sorry.
Thank you for joining us. But yeah, so Trust Machine will also be screening as part of Biddle Week, leading up to ETH Denver as one of those really awesome blockchain events that Kim mentioned.
Yeah, it's going to be in Copenhagen. It's going to be in Moscow. It's going all over the place. It's very exciting that everyone is so interested in it. And I think Alex Winter did a fabulous job of capturing the essence of where we are today. This is a moving target, and things change very quickly. So with a tech doc, it's a bit challenging sometimes. And I think he's done a great job of creating something that can live for quite some time without feeling old or stale. So we're excited to share it with you guys.
Definitely. So we've gotten this question a couple times from Snarfy, I believe I'm saying the username correctly, on Reddit, but basically asking, so from a consumer perspective, what brings somebody like his girlfriend who's got a Netflix and a Spotify account already and is not into crypto, why would she want to use Breaker, the app?
Well, first of all, you do not need crypto in order to interact with Breaker. You can use anything you have that you're familiar with on other platforms. So that's the good news. So, crypto enthusiasts, great. I was excited that I can just, connect my Light wallet so I can use my crypto. Very exciting for all of us in the blockchain space. But if your girlfriend or mother or grandma who, has her accounts wants to be able to interact, she will be able to do that. And I think, what we're learning from the market research that we've been doing is the type of content that's offered on the sites is what brings people to the site and keeping them returning. So it is our mission and goal to be able to acquire and create content that's original and that's fresh. We are really cultivating the independent voice and the independent communities. We just left Sundance. There's so many amazing conversations going on. People are very excited about this. The industry is changing rapidly because there's only a few outlets for filmmakers to be able to distribute digitally, and to have an alternative distribution platform that allows for them to track their data, their revenue, their rights, and more importantly, where and when people are responding to their content and be able to, do something about that and continue to market in meaningful ways is extremely valuable. Data is king right now. And for us to be able to say, we're giving you this data that's yours is extremely exciting. We're very, very encouraged by a lot of the conversations we've been having with the partners that you will see already on the site as you go there today. And as we speak, every single moment and every day, you'll see more and more library content partners coming on and very recognizable names. So hopefully your girlfriend, Snafi, will love what she sees and want to share it and continue to come back.
Awesome. Yeah.
Just to add to that, every morning I come into the office. On my desk, Jason Terrell, our VP of content, has a folder of agreements, of contracts for me to sign for new artists, new movies, for music, for libraries from all over the world. So it's really great. We just can't get the content on there fast enough. So it'll continually we'll be continually adding more titles every single day, as Kim mentioned.
Well, it's been extremely helpful to actually show these partners that we've been speaking with now for months and months an actual app. We've been basically talking about a theory and a concept. So it's really exciting to be able to actually show them. And now that a lot of them are seeing it. They're just, where do I sign? So, again, it's very exciting for them because they have this opportunity to share data, and they don't get that opportunity with any other platforms out there. And it is a big problem, and it is something that is discussed widely more and more. The conversation started 5-6 years ago when the trends started changing, and it's a very popular conversation, transparency, and data sharing is extremely popular. So the fact that we're coming here at this particular juncture, we have perfect timing. And so we expect a lot more exciting content partners in the days to come.
Yeah, expect a lot of the updates coming, at least in the short term, will be about new content that's landing on Breaker, including films we've been talking about for a while now, like Trust Machine, which we mentioned, and Prospect, which will be premiering. The VOD release is going to be exclusively on Breaker starting next week.
February 8th.
Next week.
So this was a...
Apa? February 8 next week. Wah, berarti udah deket ya. Jadi dia bilang kan, untuk film dan konten-konten lainnya itu akan banyak update, maksudnya akan banyak konten-konten baru akan hadir ke dalam mereka punya portal. Film, tunggu, terus juga film dan konten-konten gimana tulis? Film-film eksklusif yang cuman dapat ditonton di Breakers, di portal Breakers lah, biar enak dengarnya. Portal Breakers akan mulai dapat kita saksikan satu persatu dalam secara film eksklusif yang cuma dapat ditonton di portal akan mulai dapat kita mulai kita saksikan secara berkala ya. Gimana tulis nih? Saksikan satu persatu bermunculan. Mungkin ada satu film, saya lupa apa namanya sih, akan mereka umumkan lah minggu depan, 8 of February kah? Yep. Lanjut.
The film that premiered at South by Southwest Film Festival. It stars Pedro Pascal, who's in Game of Thrones, in the first season, and it's a sci-fi. Say again? Narcos, yeah. It's a sci-fi, and we have an exclusive window. This will be exclusively available on Breaker February 8th. And so, don't miss out. It's a fantastic sci-fi film, and tell all your friends.
Wow, sci-fi film sci-fi. Apa dia bilang tadi? Apa namanya? Sci-fi film. Mungkin ada satu film sci-fi eksklusif yang akan mereka umumkan minggu depan. Eksklusif, gimana tuh eksklusif? Copy and paste ini aja lah. Eksklusif. Okay. Next.
Cool. So to pivot a little bit to a different sort of marketing conversation, a question that we got from Urius on Reddit, and this one will be for you, Zach. He wanted to know, how are you going to market the singles token, and how is that aligned with user incentives?
Yes, Max, talk about singles token, man.
Okay, let's see. With regard to user incentives, I should probably briefly outline these 4 phases. Just to show how the incentivization, which we also call gamification sometimes, the adding of utilities. Anyway, let me go over the 4-phase roadmap here, just real quick in broad strokes. It's pretty much phase 1 starts today, and phase 1 is all about our rebrand, the Breaker beta. And our first token upgrade. And phase 2 is
tunggu berbenah insentif token holder, ya, seamless atau apapun namanya yang kedepannya, Ia melibatkan 4 fase penting ya. Yaitu yang pertama adalah berhubungan dengan ini. Apa nih? Token upgrade ya. Token upgrade akan terjadi sebentar lagi.
All about Breaker Mobile, Breaker OTT, and then version 2 of the Breaker desktop. Phase 3 is when Serenity hits the network and we start moving toward the theoretical function of singles tokens being the gas that processes.
Oke. Token apa nih? Token upgrade dan porter dan beta, breaker beta. Oke. Kemudian fase, ya harus agak cantik lah tulisannya. 2 apa OTT apa artinya? Nggak ngerti. Desktop breaker versi 0,2 kah dia bilang tadi, versi 2, balik sedikit ya.
Function of singles tokens being the gas that processes all of the data and our first token upgrade. And phase 2 is all about Breaker Mobile, Breaker OTT, and then version.
Apa nih tuh OTT? OTT aku nggak ngerti apa itu. Jadi nggak ngerti, gue kasih tanda merah. I don't understand what is Breaker OTT. OTT.
And 2 of the Breaker desktop. Phase 3 is when Serenity hits the network and we start moving toward the theoretical function of singles tokens being the gas that processes all of the transactions on the Breaker network. And then phase 4, this is the achievement of true decentralization.
Tunggu. Singles akan menjadi gas dalam setiap transaksi yang terjadi. Tapi setelah Serenity masih lama. Doa-doalah Ethereum akan digunakan sebagai akan dipakai sebagai gas pembayaran dalam setiap transaksi. Oke. Dia nggak ngomong tentang revenue ya.
With an open source network and a strategy of deploying software development kits so that anyone can build on top of our distribution and development layers. So essentially, we are moving toward a future. Our goal is that we build this intellectual property rights management infrastructure, and then that becomes the decentralized entertainment industry that everyone starts migrating to and building on top of. Okay. With regard to incentivization,
yes.
So the types of things that are going to be rolled out, there's going to be different types of incentivization, gamification, and utility rolled out through all 4 of these phases. There's so many different ideas to incentivize and gamify singles. Some of them are super simple, super obvious, like using singles as payment, getting free content, those sort of things. And then they become progressively more complex as the phases move on. For example, using singles to stake certain aspects of Breaker, certain aspects of the Breaker network for various reasons. Even DAO-type governance features. And the ultimate incentivization, the ultimate utility, of course, is singles as gas. So there's loads of different possibilities here. It's definitely one of the areas that we want to engage with you, the community, about. And so we just need to figure out a way, the most productive way to share these ideas and to talk about them, because some of them are quite obvious, others are very theoretical. Some of the more important ones are very dependent upon a number of base protocol upgrades, but we need to have those conversations in an open and transparent manner and really leverage the mind share of the community, because after all, that's what incentivization and gamification really is all about. So the hearts of the community have to be in it as well. With regard to actual marketing of singles tokens, I got to be honest with you, there shouldn't probably be much marketing of the singles token. There's going to be extensive marketing of Breaker itself.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, and one thing I wanted to clarify.
Tadi gua mau dengar ulang.
Protocol upgrades, but we need to have those conversations in an open and transparent manner and really leverage the mind share of the community, because after all, that's what incentivization and gamification really is all about. So the hearts of the community have to be in it as well. With regard to actual marketing of singles tokens, I got to be honest with you, there shouldn't probably be much marketing of the singles token. There's going to be extensive marketing of Breaker itself.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, and one thing I wanted to clarify, because it came up on Discord this morning, and it's sort of implicit in Zach's answer, is singles is still our token. Just because we've rebranded doesn't mean that we're getting rid of a perfectly functional part of our business and our identity. So singles is sticking around, and we look forward to having more conversations about our token in the future. So some other content-related questions or creator-related questions. Something else that Urias had posed, he had asked, what is the status of working with early artist adopters to promote their content? There was some of that in 2017, I think, referring to some of the token launches. And then we haven't heard as much. So can you guys give us an update there?
Well, sure. I mean, we haven't had a platform until today,
Okay.
which is very exciting. And so some of the artists that you saw on Toket, Grammatic namely, will have his own channel. Certainly will be all the artists that are launching will have benefit of participating in our platform marketing. Each week when we have new artists coming on board, we will be marketing those artists. And so like the libraries, individual artists, individual production companies can have their own channels, and they will market themselves just the way they do traditionally. These partners still have to market themselves. The most important thing here is that they have real data now to work with. And so when that was taken away from them with any other kind of partners, they now have more control over being able to be informed by how much marketing, where their marketing is. But any artist that's going to be launching will certainly, any new artist will certainly be benefiting from the platform's marketing campaigns that will be happening.
Yeah, and just to dovetail off that, you probably noticed when you go to the landing page of the website, there's a content carousel, and Prospect, which we discussed earlier, is featured there, as well as Trust Machine and some of our partnership content like Dahmer and public domain like A Star Is Born. That carousel updates continuously. So as new titles drop, as they move up the chain, we'll put them in the carousel to give them extra leverage. We also, in our Instagram stories, will be a place where we'll also be featuring our content partners and films, and there'll be a lot going on in Instagram stories to promote, to do content marketing. That's not to say we won't do specific media campaigns for content titles, but we are going to be heroing the creators of content and token holders and token updates and token raises in our Instagram feed, because it's created for creators. It's created for our community. So all social media marketing is actually for the content and for the creators. And so you'll see that continuously. And as we have titles to push and new titles dropping, we'll do those in Instagram stories.
Right. So be checking in with us on our various channels for updates regarding all of the different art stuff that you'll be able to watch and listen to on Breaker, because we'll definitely be showcasing a lot of it there. Then I don't know if he was able to join us today or not, but he was on our last call, so I wanted to spend some time answering a couple of his questions. This is Claude, aka Hedony. But he had asked a couple of questions about KYC, aka Know Your Customer. Will KYC authentication be required to use the DDP, as well as same question about buying tokens to use the DDP. And so I just wanted to talk about that very briefly. Claude, it sort of depends on what you mean by KYC or from whose perspective you're talking from. So if you're just a normal consumer who's going to Breaker in order to download Prospect, say, or Trust Machine, you're not going to have to perform some sort of burdensome KYC. It's the same sort of information that's typical when you're paying with a credit card. We need to know your address so we can figure out what sort of taxes need to be collected so that you can pay for the film. But there's nothing to the extent that you would have to input if you were performing KYC with, say, a Coinbase or some other crypto exchange. That being said, if you're a content creator and you're looking to upload and monetize your content on our platform, we will need to perform a slightly more extensive KYC where we do need some forms of identification. That's very typical, and it's in keeping with practices across both legacy and new innovative platforms as well. It's just performing these basic legal requirements that we're required to. And then in order to buy tokens that might be utilized across the DDP, any sort of token sale will certainly have to be KYC'd, and this is just in accordance with global best practices. Of course, like we've discussed with Token in the past, we're really looking at it as more of a royalty and residual enabling system, something that powers our distribution portal to do the types of things that it's best at, and not so much about token sales. So I think another couple questions here, and then we can sort of open it up to the floor in case there's any questions that have been inspired by today's events. I'm sure we've got to have a couple. But talking more about the rebrand, we had a question from Neil, who I know I saw him on the call earlier. So Carrie, if you wouldn't mind talking about this one. Do you have any strategies for the community to come up with maybe new art or a logo to represent the new brand? What sort of interaction with the community is there?
It's a great question. You know, it took us a long time to get to this, and we're really excited about this. And so I've been plugging away just here within the walls of Breaker, just to be consistent with the way we speak about it and the way we demonstrate it and the way we show up in the world. And so my specialty is in marketing, obviously, and communications. And so it's important to me that we have this like cohesive brand look for the near future so that people don't get confused. I don't want to introduce new things to the brand while we're just trying to get the brand out into the world. But we are also, we hope that the way we designed it, because obviously, you know G now, and besides our love of film, I don't know blockchain and crypto like he does. He doesn't know marketing and some of the things I know, or like Kim or like Zach. We're very different people, but yet we collectively, this whole company came up with this idea. It wasn't me, it was all of us. And so we try to really inspire the filmmakers in all of us, the lovers of cinema, the lovers of blockchain and crypto, and our community of this like whole idea of decentralization and future focus. And so I'm hoping that in this incredible effort we'd have for 6 months, that every one of you feel like we thought of you and that you were with us all along, like that this was not made in vain. This was made for everyone. And so, but we are fun. I think Zach and I have conversations every day of like, can't we do this? Can't we do that? And so there are certain aspects of fun that we plan on having with the brand. And I really will look to you guys. I love it when you tag me on Discord and say, this is interesting or this is cool. I mean, if any of you guys were at the ETH conference, like we did this whole booth about, at DEF CON, about being a bidler. And like we had so much fun doing Easter eggs and making the art and making it really fun and dynamic, something that you guys would want to interact with and want to share. And so we want to continue to make things that are shareable and fun. And we appreciate any ideas that you guys have, but it would be an expression of this brand and having fun with it versus a new iteration of this brand, if that makes sense.
I mean, the mesh globe, it's a mesh globe, and when it's moving, it's three-dimensional. It's like a globe of mesh, and we've been playing around with ideas of it morphing in and out of different shapes. So, perhaps the community might have fun creating some shapes out of our new mesh globe that's interconnected and decentralized at the same time,
Yeah, our little hive mind.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is a very insightful thing to share also about the way that we work. Because I know that from the outside, it might appear that, Carrie comes on board and all of a sudden there's this new thing that she mandates that we all do, but that's not the way that we work. Everything is sort of this collaboration. And so definitely, I know this is something that I said on the first community call, but I want to reiterate it. Your ideas do get added to the conversations that we're having internally. So don't be surprised if some of them pop up in another form, and we're trying to get better at finding ways of hearing the things that you're saying.
Absolutely.
But yeah, talking more about the brand, and I think building on another question that Claude had asked, what does a rebrand mean? I would even expand the question a little bit more. It's something that you've talked about a bit already today, Carrie. But so what is Breaker? What does this mean? And why should the community be excited about it?
What I love about the word breaker is it's not like binary. It doesn't mean just one thing to everybody. It means a lot of different things to different people, and it's really your perception and what you hear and feel, and it can even change on a day. And so that's kind of what we loved about it, is that it's just so different and fresh. And so, like, for me, when I think of breaker, it reminds me of my childhood, of waves crashing on the shore, and sort of that dissipation of energy on impact. Even everybody
Breaker means to you, Kit.
Well, listen, we were Singularity TV from out of the gate, and it was always a mouthful, right? And so we heard your comments early on about rebranding, but it's time and place, right? And we didn't have anything ready to rebrand. If we would have rebranded, say, 2 years ago, what would have the point been at that moment? Because we didn't have an application. So I just want to speak to the timing of all of that. Everything in its due time, right? So I want you to know that we heard you. And we spent a lot of time on this, and we spent a lot of time finding our Carrie. It wasn't an easy task, because decentralized blockchain mindset is so different than straight up corporate branding. So I just want to say that we're really proud to be at this moment. And for me, breaker means breaking the mold. I'm really not into the word rebel or rebellion. I like evolution. Next way with this to really create a new mold, like you said, break.
Gua cepetin sedikit ya, soalnya ini ngomong-ngomong tentang kenapa namanya breaker gitu-gitu ya. Mereka ngomong-ngomong tentang visi-visi gitu, aku rasa nggak gitu penting deh. Jadi kita cepet-cepetin aja.
Breaking something down and then already hearing.
Found out everyone's feelings on the brand.
Why not?
Tunggu.
Why don't we wait? Zach, do you want to talk about what breaker means to you? So we sort of.
Ini penting.
There was a lot of criticism for Singularity TV, and it took a long time to face the fact that might have to let go of that. It was
You're speaking for yourself. He's speaking for himself.
Yeah, okay. But Breakers has this very disruptive feel to me on one hand. On another hand, it's like we're the breakers of a new kind of entertainment, a new kind of way of doing things. But I also like the ocean wave imagery, because we are the crest of the wave of innovation. And I like that imagery.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I think we've tried to touch upon the majority, at least topics-wise, of the various marketing and brand-related questions that we received. Yeah. However, when we asked these questions in advance, you guys didn't really get an opportunity to ask more questions about Breaker specifically, because you didn't know that it was coming. So I'm curious, for those of you who are joining us today, do you have any questions right now that we can talk about a little bit more about branding, marketing, any of the strategies around that? So the floor is open. I saw Edward's hand raised, so why don't you go ahead, Edward?
Edward's tall.
Nice to see you again.
Hello.
You hear me? Can you hear
Yes.
me?
You're a little bit quiet. Can you talk up just a bit, Edward?
Okay. I'll try to be now a little bit
That's
Little bit
better.
It was 4 o'clock in the morning. Now it's only 3 o'clock in the morning. So I love you so much that I'm all the time like to see you. I like the energy of you. Welcome to the team. You steal my conversation because just earlier I have so many papers to read because I don't want to steal your time. I think time is very important now for the community member to see your messages, not my speech. And I felt also from the last intervention, maybe also for my comments in Reddit on Discord, that maybe I'm not perceived in the right way. So I want to take a few minutes to express myself a little better because, you know, the communication is not only words. When we see each other, when we see the expression, maybe we can understand better each other. So I'm here the second time. I'm already feel part of the team. I feel your energy, your strong energy. I like that. I like that very much. Okay. Like I said last time, Kim was not there. Terry was not there. I'm with this company for the team. I'm all in. I don't have any other tokens. I feel this is not a blockchain company. I feel it as a company. I really believe it's and I will do my best to put some provocative questions to be the unicorn that will be the next company who will deliver the killer app from the blockchain. Everybody's waiting. So that's why I'm there. Now, I know all of you, maybe more than you know me, not because I'm a stalker, but because I like this company and I need to know the team. Why? Because probably from my experience. I have like 10 years experience in the financial field and now like 5, 6 years in the human resources. So most of my meetings, probably also my discussions, are focused on solutions. Sometimes to be straight. Honestly, I think it's the best thing to find solutions. I'm quite pragmatic, as you can see. I'm not speaking vision because the vision is obstacle. I'm trying only to see things that can do better and faster. Also, my speech now is completely different from the speech that I have on this board and Reddit. I feel this conversation that we have here is like a team building. It's not necessarily question and answers. I think my personal opinion is that question and answer can be answered faster, most efficient in Reddit on Discord. Not necessarily my question. My questions, I don't like to be the devil advocate, but I thought a lot to each of the questions, like now. I'm supposed to read what I'm speaking now, but I remember sometimes because I repeat it many, many times. Also the questions that I put in Reddit, I am thinking many times to be as short as possible, as provocative as possible, and not necessarily to receive an answer, but to make people think differently, okay? Because I saw some area of improvement, and I'm not here to be judgmental. Again, not at all. I don't want to make my intervention as a useful criticism. Actually, I believe a lot of karma, and I can give you bad feelings. For sure, it will come back to me sooner or later. So not my intention at all. Even my principle in life is to find solution, not to create issues. But obviously, the entertainment team is very strong. I think it will be the strongest in the world at this moment. And I think it has to be level up. It's already level up with Terry. Nice to see you again, Terry. With level up marketing. Probably is level up also with the financial. Once the financial field, it will be level up with your level, I think this company will be a success. There's no doubt about it. Now, other things. I have only one question actually, and you can see that my intervention is completely different because I'm trying to focus on other things, not to repeat what I said. Everybody understood. Some question can be asked, some question cannot be asked. Also, I think my intervention could be much different in another type of meetings. I really believe that you have some governance. I make comparison all the time with the regular companies like board of administration or something like that. Because I really believe that board of administration, board of governance should be different than the execution. The CEO is participating in that, but the vision of the board of the governance, it's a little different than the people who are doing day-by-day execution. Because sometimes we are so busy day-by-day execution that we don't have time to relax and to think in long term. So some things that the community are putting can be said in the different kind of meetings. Not in this meeting, I feel it like a team building. And I think the results are very, very good. Guru already mentioned it. Already last meeting created a lot of positivity, a lot of nice intervention. I like Gurus, of course, because I would like to have Gurus. If I will be in your team there, I would like to have somebody like Gurus all the time level up. all the time level up. I think it's a very good person, very intelligent. I cannot focus on all these questions, definitely. Probably because he's speaking so many areas and he looks so competent in many areas. It's very difficult. But I'm happy to see this kind of people. I'm happy to see the community that I find many interesting people. I like you, but I like also Guru. And I think other people will step up more and more. When you see this conversation in YouTube, my intention anyway, you can cut my intervention because I don't want to be famous at any rate. I hope you can.
I think the point is definitely well taken, Edward. That, but I think it's something that also happens over time, where in order to have more of those sort of interesting, higher level brainstormy type conversations, we at least have to get everybody on the same page first. And so that's what we're trying to do with these types of calls, to get to those questions, to find a way that everybody's synced up, so that the community is really understanding some of the decisions made behind the app. And the business decisions we've taken here.
Well, that's something that Edward just mentioned too, about governance, and we have a lot of conversations about governance a lot, and I'm looking toward a destination where we can automate a certain amount of governance aspects with singles token holders. So would definitely like to talk more. And for a lot of our team to talk more with you and the community about different aspects of how to automate certain governance possibilities of our platform and our business.
Any questions that I put and I is based on the information, quite limited to be honest, that we have the public information. So of course, some questions probably have nothing to do with what are you doing, what are you planning, because my information are not accurate enough or high level enough to put the right questions. I still hope that you appreciate my intervention or other community intervention. I hope in the future my intervention will become less and less, because my purpose is not to put questions over and over again. No, I hope other people will put more interesting questions, will feel that your intervention and you appreciate, like we have from these two calls, and more people will put much more interesting questions that I'm trying to find. Of course, it would be nice to be respectful. It would be nice to have a purpose, not just to have a conversation. I try to be pragmatic and to find the reason behind any question. If I put questions for example, for the financial area, because I believe we have to do something in that area in some way. Maybe my idea is not correct because I don't have the right information, but at least I raise some question in an area which I don't feel it that it's not the same level as an entertainment. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe other people will do in the technical area. Guru, for example, or Urius are much more prepared than me in the technical area. And now that we have the platform, probably the intervention is more required than mine. So I hope more people will see that you appreciate the intervention from the community and will step up more and more. This is like a free brainstorming, having nice people, intelligent people all around the world, putting idea on the table. And sometimes we are so focused on the day-by-day execution that we just miss some small things.
Yeah. Thank you.
If I may, I had a question I wanted to ask, maybe a slight deviation from Edward. Thank you for your thoughts on that. I want to talk about, at least ask Carrie a question. By the way, highly appreciate this direction for rebranding. Like, you know, for me, this Breaker it just means so many different things. It's just flooded with so many different personas. You know, it could be a rebel on one hand, a vanguard on the other hand. It could be, you know, formation of waves and more artistic interpretation. It just has a lot of interpretation, and it does set the right tone for persuasion. I think it's an interesting marketing term where you communicate what it is that you want to communicate before you even say anything, right? So I think that overall the branding pretty fantastic, and thanks a lot on that. A question I wanted to ask Carrie is that, so given how we have done so far in the last, let's say, 7 months in this whole marketing area, now granted that we're coming out with Breaker, you know, 1 out of 10, how aggressive do you think we will be in the next 6 months in these marketing efforts compared to how we were in the past 6 months? looking forward in the next 6 months? How do you think that's going to look like?
I mean, that's a great question. And we weren't really marketing in the last 6 months in the sense of we were living. We were just living, you know what I mean? And now I feel like, you know, we've, over the last 6 months, it's been a really interesting journey because not only, to get to a brand, you need to have a brand strategy. I mean, otherwise you don't know what you're making or why you're making it. And what's been so fun on this journey is sitting with Kim and Zach and just the team here and really disseminating and getting to the core of like who we are, what we stand for, and why we stand for it. And we've had conversations about the word explorer versus pioneer. Like literally, we've had these granular stories and conversations about evolve versus, you know, what revolution versus evolution. And so we've really gotten to a place now where we feel like we have something to say, and now we have a platform to celebrate who we are and why. And so, I mean, aggressive is an interesting word because to me, we're in beta. And so it's a fine dance because we want to get people onto the platform to learn about what we're doing, but I don't want to flood the platform with traffic because we really want to see where are people coming from and how is the platform working? How elastic is it? How's everything going? And so we're trying to, we got a great article in Variety this morning. We got a great piece in Adweek about the branding. We're amping up our social channels. We will start doing media buying in social. And then we're going to be collecting data in the sense of figuring out who's coming, why are they coming, and where they're coming, and making sure that we take care of those people that are coming on and that we're speaking to them to bring more users into the platform. I don't want to like buy data. We don't want to be intrusive. We want to really authentically grow our core users, which we really see as our community and crypto and blockchain enthusiasts, genre, people that really love sci-fi and indie films and are really invested in artists. Because I think it was Edward or somebody on the community that had said, it's like, if we lead with data sovereignty, while it's important to us, and we really, as Kim was saying, it is our ethos to the core that we are not going to take your data and sell it off platform. We can't lead that from a marketing perspective because that's not going to bring in Snarfy's girlfriend. Right. And so it's like this, we have to be very careful with our messaging, and it's definitely going to be, there's going to be consumer messaging that's really about the content because at the end of the day, that's really what the mass consumer wants, but also nuancing into our early adopters who really also do care about transparency of blockchain, data sovereignty and ownership, and rights, revenue, and royalty for artists. So we'll be amping up those dials and sort of testing and growing as we go over the next at least 3 to 4 months. And then we're going to start doubling down on specific strategies as the platform grows and we kind of like get our marketing legs with the platform under us. I hope that answers your question.
So I guess we've been operating maybe in the last 6 months at a 1 or a 2, and in the next 6 months maybe a 5 or a 6 to see the different directions and what works. And then depending on what works, we'll amp it up to a 7 or 8. So maybe go as much as 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, at this particular stage, we have 2 jobs. We have the industry and artists that we need to attract to let them know this exists, and then we also have audience. So there's a couple of different messages, and we've been talking about, you know, what those are, and Carrie's well aware, and you know, it's you know, that will change as we evolve. You know, once everyone's aware of it, like you don't need to tell anybody what Netflix is. I mean, filmmakers have a different conversation with Netflix than Snarfy's girlfriend, you know, so yeah. Those are 2 distinct audiences, and we are very, very well aware of that. And Carrie's team is very well aware of that. And we were having a lot of awesome conversations around, you know, what the messaging is and who we are and what we're offering.
And in what channel, you know, obviously right. Artist channels,
right.
And they will differentiate.
Okay,
yeah, can I ask one other question? Maybe a little bit technical, but I'm going to have a stab at it. So, Carrie, you mentioned rights, royalties, and revenues, and I remember one of the aspects of that was almost like this pro rata distribution to whoever that's funded. Let's say an artist, right? They may have investors for content that they created. So then, have we on the background? Do we have the smart contracts that are essentially ready to allow for this automated distribution of revenue, let's say, for that artist? I'm just kind of speaking from that artist point of view. So can you comment on that? Or?
There's an artist portal that you can talk about.
And so that is essentially Toket. So that is what Toket has been designed to do. That is what it's doing right now for every single piece of content that you can purchase and download on Breaker. So those smart contracts that have been generated via tokens created on Token, they're collecting revenue in the form of ETH, and then they are dispersing it to the rights holders in that content.
Let me say something about this too, because I was in Jason's office the other day, and he and his team were sitting down around Token, and they had a stack of papers, and each paper represented an artist or a production company or a studio, and they were basically sitting there making sure that all of those tokens that represent all of the films and music were properly done in Token, and that they were there and that they existed so they could be integrated into Breaker.
So Anil, there will be
all of those smart contracts that push revenue through. They exist, and they're also existing in different complexities, because in the entertainment industry, there's something on the back end called a waterfall, which just basically means that a waterfall is who gets paid what when, and it can get very complicated for certain deals sometimes. You know, one entity might need to be paid back first at a certain percentage, and then the second entity doesn't get X percent until the first one does, and then it's a whole waterfall cascading with different values going in different directions, and that's what we've been spending a lot of time developing on a smart contract from a smart contract point of view.
And I think that's what we meant. Perhaps it's a better articulated version now that you've got an app to see of what we meant when we said that Token was an enabling app on the last call, is that it is being used now, and those smart contracts that it's generating are the mechanism for distributing royalty and residual payments to rights holders of a piece of content.
Right. So to kind of summarize that understanding, so then the way it's done is that the artist has their set number of tokens. The revenue goes into some kind of a revenue function, and the artist will basically invoke their number of tokens into that contract and basically get all the gifts or whatever that revenue is in the crypto form, right? Just like the withdraw reward function that we had tested with Singular X, for example. I'm thinking something like that.
Right. It's going to become slightly more complex because of the nature of needing to support waterfalls, like Zach shared. But yes, logically, it's the same function where you've got revenue coming into the smart contract, and then stakeholders in that particular piece of content, producers, perhaps a big name actor who has points on the back end, they withdraw their share pro rata because they've been allocated that number of tokens.
I mean, I look forward to the day when, like, you know, someone has, like, famous people have wallets and it just immediately goes in there. I mean,
right.
You know, we're in the early days. Like, remember when people didn't have an email address and you couldn't instantaneously communicate with them because they had to get an email address? I mean, we're in those days, right? So not everyone has a wallet. I mean, we talk about blockchain out there and people are like, what is that? So these are very, very early days. So, you know, these waterfalls aren't as sophisticated as we hope they will be in the future, because it'll be amazing that SAG and the DGA and the Directors Guild of America and the Writers Guild of America and, you know, have their own wallets where they can pay out, you know, their actors based on the deals that have been made on the front end, which is a great deal of accounting and paperwork and onboarding of, you know, the industry. But that's something we're very interested and excited to create in the future. But everyone has to jump on board blockchain and get a wallet.
Well, yeah, and Anil, what's interesting too is, Kim mentioned that our smart contracts are becoming more and more complex as time passes. But the issue is we don't want them to become too complex, because the inefficiency, the craziness of the entertainment industry and how value flows around there, if we tried to smart contract that out, it would just be a mess. So we want to push everything to sort of, I don't want to say meet in the middle, but we don't want to actually build the smart contract automated system like the entertainment industry is now. It's just so convoluted and crazy. So we need to do a little bit of swinging the entertainment industry our way too, to make things simpler.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Cool. I think we've actually already gone a bit over time now, so apologies we weren't able to get to more questions. Please continue to post them on Discord, on Reddit, elsewhere, and we will get back to them as soon as we can. We'll be announcing another one of these soon. Our aim is to do probably a community call per month in the future. Thanks again for everybody for joining us, both from the community, and thank you very much to Carrie, Kim, Zach, some of the other Singular DTD team members who are on the call. Just a final plug, if you haven't downloaded Breaker, please, right now,
Breaker.io.
Breaker.io. Also check out our very cool, very awesome new brand film.
Yeah, you can see that on the site. There's a loop, and then in the lower right-hand corner is the arrow for the full video. You can also find it on our YouTube.
It does a great job of summarizing in a very visceral format what it is.
And G is in it. So you can, there's a little Easter egg for you. G is in the spot. So check it out.
Yeah.
Guys, that ad is absolutely phenomenal. It's such a well-made ad.
That's Carrie's team.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey, go to sleep, Edward.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Oke, selesai. Jadi sekian aja deh beberapa poin penting dapat saya kutip di EME Breaker bulan ini ya, bulan Januari. Berarti nanti akan nengok interviewnya di bulan depan lagi. Ya, di bulan depan. Berarti Maret ya. Akhir bulan Februari ataupun awal bulan Maret gitulah. Oke, jadi bye bye. Aku pun mau cabut juga. Dadah.